getting my new bee colony to enter my giant ecosystem vivariums. YouTubes, welcome to the AntsCanada. This is something we watch on the streams a lot. But today I wanted to give you guys a chance to enjoy the AntsCanada content as well. This guy is an absolute legend. You could call him Father Nature if you want.
Canada, creator of worlds. The biological engineer.
My goat.
Multi-year operation.
My goat.
My giant ant room lab, located in my home, where I'm building an expansive network of ecosystem vivariums. Exhibit A, Pantora.
W. Pantora.
My 1,000-gallon cloud rainforest floor vivarium, which is connected by way of a cave tunnel to Exhibit B, Hydromeda, a tropical
W. Hydromeda.
vivarium, and to a vertical glass bridge of wooden vines, ascending up to Exhibit C, Orchidia, a treetop canopy vivarium on the floor above, and through an opening at the back.
Oh my God,
leading to
Valentino.
a fallen log bridge.
W. Valentino.
To Exhibit D, Verdantia, a gargantuan 2,000-gallon tropical grasslands vivarium. It's all one massive connected ecosystem I call Pangea.
Yeah, just like he lives in a giant mansion in the Philippines and has a massive ecosystem in his house. I mean, who else can, is there any other is there a better life to live than this guy right here?
Housing a plethora of fungi, plants, and animals,
Well,
whose purpose is
Valentino.
to reveal how ecosystems work in the wild.
Blue
And
ants.
The newest additions were about to fulfill
Black crazy
their
ants,
vital
stingless
role
bees,
in the
so
Pangean
many.
ecosystem.
So many things.
The new bee colony has a hole in their bee box, through which they could leave to forage for flower nectar and pollen from nearby flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have the freedom to enter a bridge above them,
Whoa.
which leads directly to the vivarium tanks, all of which had flowers to lure the bees in. And just last week, I couldn't believe my eyes. With the help of a bee material,
Bro, imagine being a bee and you find new territory and you get to tell all the bros that you found the new spot. What? Would that not be like the best feeling ever? Like, they wouldn't even believe you. You're like, bro, I literally just found like the fucking Garden of Eve over here. And nobody's going to believe you until you go and see it.
known as propolis, as a scent bait, the first bee had finally entered Verdantia, and scientific history was about to be made.
Well,
At least that was what I thought. As it turns out, Mother Nature...
Whoa. What? Brown ants inside of a white leaf. Are we watching Avatar? I've never seen this. I've never seen this image in my life. Is this from Avatar? What is happening?
had some other plans, and I was about to learn a very
What?
valuable lesson.
What? Wait for it.
Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC family. Enjoy.
Wait for it.
I was squealing with
Why'd he
joy
cut it off so
when I
early?
saw the first bee enter Verdantia. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. The tanks were ready with a team of flowers, chosen specifically with the help of the vendors.
Damn. Nature really is pretty. And I'm over here sitting inside. GG.
From my local plant nursery, a species they observed to be the most popular with pollinator insects. From holy basil, forget-me-nots, pandakaki,
What? What are these names? Holy basil, forget-me-not?
pollinator insects. From holy basil, forget-me-nots, pandakaki, lantanas, baby aurora, zinnias, cadenia del amor, various
Yo.
orchids for orchidia and hydrom.
You have to realize that somebody named these. Yo, somebody named these. Like, people never talk about how like early human civilizations were just straight up trolling, bro, because they had like the rights to make any name they could. Like, imagine being the guy who fucking, named colors and you know what I mean? Like, and just people who started naming popular things and plants and like, bro, what? Scombronini. I bet you don't know what a scombronini is. I do. It's a fish. No, it's not from To Steal a Brain Rot. It's a fish. Scombronini.
Amida, and
Look it up.
ground orchids for Pandora. Even a little help from a butterfly who led me to include this copia. I was ecstatic, watching the first
my posture.
bee buzzing around the top of Verdantia,
Posture's on point.
knowing my master plan to get these bees to be official pollinators in our ecosystem was working. But what I didn't know was that this was the beginning of one big mystery and curious adventure of apicultural proportions.
Yo, what? Why do you have a plant?
The bee finally landed on a plant and began smelling around.
I just said that
flowers.
word. GG, Gray.
Yes! Finally... Oh, wait. The bee wandered away from the flower and onto the glass. And just like that, it was gone.
GG.
Okay. Where did it go? I didn't quite catch where the bee went, but that was the only bee I saw in Verdantia that entire day. What a bummer. Why were the...
Is it considered torture if I put a projector of the Bee Movie inside of a beehive and left it on repeat nonstop? It's not, I mean, that's not that bad.
bees not visiting our flowers? I had some suspicions and decided to perform a little test.
Beeline.
The next morning, I peeked into the hive, which was the site of some great activity.
Whoa.
At first, a few bees could be seen leaving the hole, but soon, the swarm increased as worker bees began to exit en masse to begin their day of foraging for flowers outside. I marveled at the sight of the bee colony as they crawled all over the outside of their nest.
WBs.
And remembered how long I've wanted to add these bees into Pangea.
Bees.
What a dream.
The bee's knees.
There are over 600 known species of stingless bees.
What? What? Bro, we just learned about stingless bees like a week ago. And now you're telling me there's 600 species? Also, why does that look like the honeycomb cereal? Y'all remember those? Oh my gosh, them honey puffs. Oh my god.
Which are honey-producing bees that have an underdeveloped stinger, all of which inhabit tropical and subtropical regions of the Americas, Africa, Asia, and Australia.
I knew that.
This species is Tetragonula baroi, native to the Philippines where I live. I wish these bees could talk, so I could find out why they didn't care to visit my flowers. I actually also had an official name for them, but I'll reveal that name later, because right now, there was something I needed to rule out. At the side of the bee box is a door leading to the inside of the hive. Based on my observations of these bees, if I was quiet, the bees wouldn't attack if I opened this door gently. I proceeded to slowly open the door.
So the beehives have a wooden door with trimming and a doorknob. So the bees are living in a better house than me? Like, what do you mean the door is like, has like trimming and like beveled edges and a smooth doorknob? Like, are they living in a mansion?
I was stunned at the sight of the colony. Suddenly, with no glass separating us. This was crazy.
What? Okay.
I left the door open for a bit.
Why? Why?
Before closing it.
What?
Here we go. A few bees had ended up flying out of the open door.
No
And
shit.
were now seen crawling at my window, Trying to follow the light to return back to the colony, I carefully picked these escapees up.
You just left the
threw
door
them
open.
into
Why?
Verdantia. When I was done, I looked into the tank, and to my surprise, instead of seeing a bunch of bees flying around, I only spotted one. I followed it carefully with my eyes, doing my best not to lose it. And bam!
Gone.
Aha! It flew through the hole.
Mm.
And sure enough, checking the bridge, yep, just as I suspected, the bees were returning to the nest. And pretty quickly, too. They knew exactly how to get back home and were perfectly
Poggers.
capable of navigating their way to and from
You like
Verdantia.
that?
This to me meant that the bees were purposely choosing not to visit Verdantia. And it wasn't merely a case of having difficulties getting there, which was a possibility. Over the next few days, the bees continued to turn their antennae up and was shining through the bamboo. The bees were up early, heading out to do their work in my yard. My parrots
What?
were screeching.
What? He's got parrots? I've been watching this guy for years. No clue he had parrots.
To greet the golden light.
What?
Goats were up and grazing.
Goats? Yo. Yo.
Mornings at my
What do you
tropical
mean?
farmhouse are always quite serene. But what I was interested in today was studying
I never knew
flowers
this.
and their pollinators. Flowers at this time of the year are the most abundant and could be seen at every turn, scattered at different levels all over the farm lot and in my garden. I wanted to find out which flowers exactly my stingless bees were visiting and why they were choosing these flowers over our flowers inside Pangea. So in case you don't know, flowers are essentially reproductive structures of flowering plants designed to produce seeds and ensure the survival of the plant species. They come in many shapes, sizes, and colors, with one important purpose: to attract pollinators, essentially creatures that help them transfer their pollen grains, which contain their DNA, to other flowers of the same species, which are taken in, leading to fertilization and the production of new seeds. So basically, flowers are for plant mating. And while there are some flowering plants that can mate without pollinators,
Tomatoes.
the vast majority,
Tomatoes.
75 to 95%
Tomatoes.
of flowering plants, which is over 180,000 species,
Isn't it what they call it? The monkey paw tree?
do need pollinators
Or monkey paw leaf?
to carry those pollen grains and reproduce.
Well,
Now here's a flower of interest, with some rather
this is the one that had the
controversial
ants.
creatures.
This is trippy. Why are they
On
controversial?
my white powder puff flowers, a team of insects were busy working on gathering nectar. Weaver ants were busy drinking up the nectar provided
Weaver
by the nectaries
ants.
deep inside the flower. The powder puff is actually a mass of flowers, as you can see with this wilted powder puff, with the long filaments
Oh my
holding
God.
the anthers, which contain the pollen above the ants. Now while we're here, I have something to say about ants, as ants can be pollinators. It turns out they're not a plant's preferred pollinator creature, compared to bees, flies, and butterflies. Here's why. First, ants are clean freaks and are constantly grooming themselves, so they end up removing most pollen stuck to their bodies
What?
before they ever get to travel to another
Oh, these plants
plant.
look crazy though.
Second, most ants don't actually even move to other plants to ever get to transfer pollen. They tend to visit a bunch of flowers on the same plant, but rarely leave to visit others. These weavers are like nectar robbers, where they take the goods, the nectar, but don't give back to the plant by delivering its pollen. But what struck me as important about these flowers was the architecture. This flower is built to attract larger pollinators, like butterflies, to land on it, to drink its nectar deep in the powder puff, and force the butterfly to brush up against the anthers so pollen grains stick to their bodies, which then allows the pollen to be delivered to other far-off powder puff flowers.
Look at that facts.
Watching how the weaver ants kind of completely hacked the design by accessing the nectar directly without ever touching the pollen made me realize that many flowers actually have a target audience and aren't just generalists when it comes to choosing its pollinators. Some flowers, like these orchids, growing on my trees, were so tiny that they surely couldn't accommodate large butterflies. I've only seen bumblebees visit these flowers, which have perfectly sized holes for them to fit in. And all of this thought on flower architecture got me thinking about the flowers in Pangea. Perhaps the flowers I chose weren't quite designed for our stingless bee species. Maybe what I really needed to find were flowers that were geared specifically for our bees. And so, I kept
type
looking.
feed. That makes sense.
I then found one flower in my yard that was popular with the local bee species. I'm unsure as to the
That was like a
exact species
wasp.
of these white flowers from a vining plant in my garden, but I noticed this masked bee feeding from its nectar, as well as these cool bees.
Whoa. Whoa. They look like zebras. What?
Meet Amagila cingulata, native blue-banded bee.
What? Sick. I've never seen that.
They're bright iridescent blue and black stripes as they zoomed from flower to flower with lightning speed, taking just a split second to collect the nectar it needed. Now, AC family, I know what you're thinking.
That's crazy.
We need a hive of blue bees in Pangea. But sorry to say, no can do. At least not the way Pangea is now. The reason is these awesome bees are solitary, living in small tunnels in soil. So it's not like we can take a hive and station them into our setup, like we did with our stingless bees. Whatever the case, once again, these particular flowers, though a clear favorite of the bees, were not a choice for our stingless bees. We were getting warmer though, so I continued to search.
These bees are cool.
Strangely, these cigar flowers, which I used to see stingless bees visiting, were no longer being visited by the stingless bees. I wonder why that was. So many questions. I would soon find out why later. And then I came across this particular bush, bordering my driveway. Jackpot!
Whoa.
The flowers of this plant were being visited by droves of stingless bees. I was determined to find out why. I watched the bees visiting each flower, landing on it, then drinking the nectar it provided before flying off to the next.
Yo, the little bee
So this
sound.
species of flowering plant is called Barbados cherry and was clearly
What's up,
a stingless bee
Barbados?
favorite. And luckily, I happen to have an extra Barbados cherry plant sitting around in my plant nursery.
Yeah, just sitting in my
So
in
I
one of my
planted it
5,000 Minecraft chests. Like, what do you mean you just have an extra plant?
into Verdantia in hopes the bees would visit it. But looking deeper into the species completely opened my mind.
Oh my god, they got pollen on
One
their
of the things
legs.
I found out about Barbados cherry was that this plant is originally from the Neotropics, specifically Lesser Antilles, Northern South America, Central America, and Mexico, a region that boasts the highest diversity of stingless bees in the world.
W diversity?
With over 400 described species. Now, although our species of stingless
400 out of the 600? That's crazy.
are a Southeast Asian species endemic to the Philippines, which is on the complete opposite side of the planet from the Neotropics, it made sense that the Barbados cherry would be a hit for our stingless bees, seeing as stingless bees are likely the plant's target. The architecture and size of the flowers, perhaps the scent and taste of the nectar, seemed to all be tailored for stingless bees. So this got me thinking, perhaps the best bet in deciding what flowers would best lure our stingless bees into our tanks is to select flower species that originate from geographies in which stingless bees are abundant. Or even better, select flower species that are endemic to the same place our specific stingless bees are.
That was a
i.e.,
fancy word.
The Philippines. And this AC family led me to this tree.
Oh?
Oh boy.
Oh.
All right,
that coconut?
So for years, I had heard rumors that coconut is the ultimate top favorite flower of stingless bees here in the
What?
Philippines.
What?
Coconuts originated in Southeast Asia and have therefore evolved over millions of years alongside
W history
other
knowledge
stingless
or
bees
W
as
facts?
pollinators.
I was gonna say history
so it
knowledge.
Makes sense that coconut would be a stingless bee favorite. Of course, I hadn't ever considered bringing a coconut tree indoors and into Pangaea because they're absolutely massive trees, and this just wasn't at all possible. But then I considered, what if we could simply recreate a coconut tree?
Oh.
This was one crazy idea, but in my mind, it just had to work. If this didn't, nothing would. AC family, behold, coconut flowers.
What?
The perfume from these flowers was so strong,
What?
even my dogs were wondering what had just been carried into the ant room. If you've never seen a coconut flower before,
No.
be prepared to be mind blown. So here are 2 coconut flowers.
What?
It's composed of a main stalk, called the rachis, and its branches, called the rachilli, that hold the flowers. Now on each rachilli are both male and female flowers.
Uh-huh.
Let's look at the male flowers first. These male flowers contain the pollen and nectar and run along the branches. And although a lot of them here are closed, some of them are open.
Okay. They look trippy.
You'll also notice these large bulbous round structures.
Looks like
at the
bone.
base. These are the female flowers. Now it's well known that coconut trees' main pollinators are bees of all kinds who come buzzing along, collecting nectar from the male flowers, getting pollen grains on their bodies, then flying to other coconut trees to deliver these pollen grains to the female flowers, thereby
Makes sense.
causing fertilization, after which these female flowers actually become the coconuts. Interesting, right? And so my plan was to turn the great tree of Verdantia
No shot.
into a coconut tree.
What?
And I felt it wasn't enough to just stick
Wait, that's
these
actually
fresh
insane.
coconut flowers into the tree. If we're going to successfully fool the bees, we'll need to go all the
Bro's literally turning the tree into a different tree. Is that even allowed? Is that against like nature? Like what? Bro's just gonna force the tree to grow other things?
Context is everything. I had a bunch of massive coconut leaves also on standby to install. The bees had this coconut tree about 100 meters away from their nest, but it was time to give the bees a new tree to visit, just a mere 6 meters away. Let's coconutize our grasslands, shall we?
Whoa. Whoa.
Problems get left on the mainland.
Hold on.
Don't need that baggage, we're going. Just found the pearl of the Orient.
Yo.
Don't know how to swim.
Bro just got slime.
Cheers to a good time. Not a long ride. We'll be on a beach in
Jesus.
Good vibes. Rain.
Bro, that just shows like how big that tree was, because like there was a ton of these like branches off the coconut tree, and that's one. Bro, this tank fits 15 people.
No shine. We're gonna have fun. Always my blue eye. Clock doesn't stop. Gotta live your life. Everything's better.
He's putting another. What? Yo.
We get together, it's on island time. Show up whenever. I'm
GG.
on island time.
GG. This is crazy.
On island time. Figure it out as we go. No need to fuss about tomorrow. Sun is shining down in the barrio. Sand on the beach so hot. You'll be saying guy, getting all high. We ain't leaving no one behind. Just zoom by. Tricycle ride. Ocean is blue, waving my blue light. Clock doesn't
These coconut, dude, like I've never, that's insane. Never seen that. That's so cool. Bro, in like a couple of weeks or months or whatever, we're gonna see coconuts in his terrarium. Like, what? Vivarium, terrarium.
Oh man. Well, it sure did look like a coconut tree. A shrunken one anyway. The golden flowers extended outward as if to reach out for pollination. I could smell its perfume wafting out of the tank.
There's creatures on it already. Excuse me. Whoa.
I triggered the fan to begin blowing the coconut's floral perfumes towards the bees.
Didn't he say it like smells like coconut or something? Like the plant, it's just strong. Come on. Surely they notice.
Looking at the leaves, I felt it help make... Ah! A bee had entered! And soon, it was 2 bees.
Oh.
The smells of the coconut flowers seemed to be working. I even placed an extra coconut leaf outside the tank.
Oh.
To truly add to the smell of coconut and lure the bees over. I watched as the bees seemed to fly around, but then head back to the nest.
Oh.
What? What gives? I waited all day for the bees to return. Even in the late afternoon, when the bee activity was starting to slow down, the bees had still not visited the coconut. And then right before sunset, I noticed a bee in Verdantia.
Come on.
Was this the one? It began to fly.
Who's gonna commit, bro? Commit. Oh my god, he's halfway there.
It eventually came to check out the coconut leaf.
Yes. The hero we needed.
Then got trapped by a spider web.
There goes my hero. Brother, what? He finally, bro, a bee finally commits after everyone else sissied out, and he gets murked by the spider web that they just added in here? Or by the plant they just added?
Ah! It eventually broke loose.
Oh my god.
Flew closer.
Cinema.
It landed to rest, where it was suddenly attacked by a black crazy ant.
Yo! This guy's getting bullied. Oh my god. Yo, this is like the Krusty Krab pizza adventure. This is a story to be told.
The bee ended up flying and shaking off the black crazy ant. These inconveniences were enough to send the bee back home.
No shit.
Oh,
hey,
man.
W hero, bro.
A few more bees came to inspect.
Bro, he just went through the mud. He's gonna have a crazy story to tell his grandkids, and they're not even gonna believe him.
The coconut tree afterward, but all also ended up flying back home without visiting the flowers.
Fucked.
Three days later, the coconut tree was looking rough. Leaves had dried out, and the coconut flowers themselves had begun to droop and wilt.
Ooh.
I hate to finally throw my hands up, guys, and admit this.
Uh-oh.
But the bees weren't willing to visit our flowers in Pangaea. Not the ground flowers, not even their favorite coconut flowers. I was sad and completely mystified. Do you guys have any guesses as to why the bees weren't pollinating in Pangaea?
No.
Here are my guesses.
The plants died so
First,
fast.
the obvious. The coconut tree wasn't alive. It was technically 2 dead flowers that I was trying to sell to the bees as living nectar-providing flowers. I think ultimately the bees knew our coconut tree wasn't the real thing, and I greatly underestimated their intelligence. Second, I feel it may have to do with sunlight somehow, as it looked like the bees in Verdantia kept wanting to fly into my lights. Not sure how lighting affects how these stingless bees find flowers, but it could be a factor as to why our bees weren't visiting our flowers. Third, after thinking things over, I also realized that when it comes to flowers and pollinators, timing is everything. The cigar plants, as well as the Barbados cherry I planted into our tank, which the bees also ended up not visiting in the end, but was now sporting a bright red berry in its branches, could be evidence that flowers naturally have a golden period for visitation when they provide the tasty nectar for pollinators. But when they no longer need pollination anymore, they stop offering up that nectar. Going out into my driveway a few days later, I saw that the Barbados cherry was now producing berries. And lo and behold, the stingless bees, which were formerly seen in swarms here, were no longer pollinating the flowers.
Oh no.
Perhaps the timing of our flowers was off. The coconut looked as though it had many male flowers still unbloomed. Whatever the case, I'll continue to plant new flowers to replace the dead ones for the duration of this year's flowering season and hope for the best. I was happy to see that several of the flowers were still alive and doing well in the tanks.
Augers.
As for the coconut tree,
not looking good.
I'll leave it up for a few more days before removing it. Our quails seem to enjoy pecking at the fallen male flowers. Looking into Verdantia today, I spotted something that gave me great hope.
Oh?
A bee. It was visiting one of the flowering plants in Verdantia, a plant that had flowers on the way.
With an orb weaver.
All right. I wonder if the bee could tell that its flowers were coming and would be back once they reached that
no commentary of him just fucking walking over the orb weaver?
I then noticed that the bees also suddenly had an interest in exploring the glass bridge above their beehive. Well, this was all very promising. For me, this was the bees' way of telling me to be patient and give them more time to warm up to this parallel universe I've introduced them to.
True.
In Pangaea.
Bees are pretty smart. Bees are pretty smart. They're not some ants, and low-key mammals, relatively stupid, but they are smart. But like the bees, though, bees got a lot of knowledge. They've been around a minute.
I hear you.
I mean, the bird's been around a minute too, but
before keeping these bees, I thought bees were pretty straightforward, visiting nearly all flowers.
Bro, they make honey. That shit's crazy.
Flowers they could get to, and that if I simply placed flowers into a tank that the bees had access to, they'd visit them.
Wrong.
But in the end, I learned that the process of pollination was a lot more complex, and that this ancient symbiosis between plant and pollinator was one that needed more exploration. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot the name I've chosen for our bees, which was a popular suggestion from you guys in last week's episode, is the Beebarians.
The Beebarians! W. Oh.
In the night, when the Beebarians are asleep, the entrance to their hive remains unguarded and completely open to the outside world. It's at this time when creatures have the opportunity to enter the ecosystem via this hole. As expected, a few small creatures have already made their way in, but I didn't expect this next creature to crawl through this open hole one night. A creature that completely blew my mind.
No shot. What? Maybe a snake? It has to be another snake. What? AntsCanada video, bro. AntsCanada video, bro.